Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're joining you here at the EVC for our group stage of the EVC qualifier for the what would this even be? The Eastern Surge something. But my name is Cherry J, joined by Repuisparentless. Wow, that is terrible wording on my part, but this is Repuisparentless taking on to Cherries. I'm here with Star Drago. Sorry about that. And we have a phenomenal matchup upon us. It's the 12 seed versus the 5 seed. Bit of a David versus Goliath matchup to find out who's going to come home on top.
You know for a fact you're excited to see it because I am as well. I might be an emergency cast today. I might not know much about these teams, so I will be asking questions. And I have to correct you. I'm sorry, buddy. EVC East qualifier. Members specifically, this is the open qualifier. This means you will have titans of the industry. That means you will have the underdogs coming to scrounge for that loot. And that also means when we're going up against teams that were making it through group stages, fighting, trying to get into those points, we've got some proper talent here. I'm ready to see operators. I'm ready to see everything go crazy, whether we go to different maps. But we're just gonna have to head straight into there, head into the match, and start this. So I'm gonna have to ask you, what are you expecting? What are you not expecting? Cherry, give me your rundown.
Oh, it's been a while. I don't know if I've ever been able to cast these two teams. I've seen them considering their current records. I've do recognize a couple of the names from other events, but nobody in particular that's a standout player that might kind of take over the leaderboard by themselves, right? It's a lot of players that work together as a unit, and that's something that we will likely be seeing tonight. Maybe there's going to be a couple pop-off performances, but realistically, I don't see any crazy names that could possibly be somebody that's going to really throw the whole lobby for a loop. It's going to be very standard Valorant with the map pool changing in just a day. It is. Right, this is a very aggressive map, and these two teams, they're playing it such as that.
You got a quick glimpse at our faces as we were doing research, looking at the numbers. I do have some interesting facts. So one of the thing is Repus is actually a Polish team. They are a team that has a good bit of history, but as you said, it's about the seed lineup, so it's not always as fair. While on the side of the Cherries, yes, they're your team. You're obviously sponsoring them, of course. I'm joking, but they are a team that might actually have a bit more history on the lines. From what I can see, this is a team made of different rosters of people who've just come together, not as a one-off, but when they've tried to go up against other teams in the past, they've only had like 1 to 2 core differences. So they've got a lot to prove in their own right. But here's the thing: you've got a Polish team that's completely speaking English, and then you've got a semi-English team completely speaking Polish. So as we head into it, one of the more important factors is that you're going to have to realize, and I've only just realized this myself, these teams are here to go for the victory and go for that fighting chance. As much as I love it in the first round, where it's always a buy, we take it slow, we bring out the knife, we bring out the pistols. I also know these teams like to play hyper aggressive. Just looking at the previous match stat history, everything is on the line. They are absolutely going to try and punish whoever gets this first round. Could honestly, in my eyes, he kind of try to take it, but you know, you're just gonna have to wait and see.
As we do see both teams lining up, looking to bring us to the start. We'll see who's going to be able to find this pistol. As it is going to be a heavy B execute coming in from the aggressive stance, and we'll see what they do end up opting in for. As it's actually going to be, they're taking it kind of slowly, right? They don't want to opt in too quickly. not loving the way that they're going to have to play into this breach stun as the concuss comes through. It's looking good. First kill from Gur as they take down Nomis, and it looks phenomenal. The paranoia out as now it's a trade for a second with it looking good. Pinocchio's looking to hold the site. They drop the paranoia into play, unable to make the connection as it's up to Pity, who's playing off the site. And now as they are just kind of looming undertone, there's still a player back site, and they find the aggressive. The Omen diff comes online for a triple kill as they end it. A 1-0 lead goes up as the pistol gets taken.
Gotta say, when you get to see those abilities come out, that's why it's such an intense game. If you're not prepared to go for that swing, you're gonna get punished. And with all the new characters that have always been added over the years, having Omen still be that starting strong, going for the 3K is just chef's kiss. It's exactly what you need to keep your team's confidence up. Go for the quick buys, making sure you can absolutely punish. And I see two shotguns. Oh, sorry, I see one shotgun, and I'm gonna have to ask you to explain meta here because I don't think shotgun is meta.
Shotgun, it's a situation where it limits your possibility for those long range angles, but when you're in that close range engagement, you can really thrive. As the way Late takes the damage, Pinocchios goes for the kill. They were good last round. They need to make it this time as well as Dema picks up another. It's an absolute manslaughter as it's going on for a second, and that'll do it. Almost a flawless as only one player falls, and being the Viper, you're going to allow them to have that shotgun possible coming into this next round as your opposition gets the better of the weapon economy. However, if you are Gur, you're going to look to possibly play from this ghost angle and just go for those close range shots and be able to limit the advantages that those rifles do provide.
It's one of the interesting things about this is the fact that we are getting to see these players get their lineups, get the long angle, try to go for the plays, but it's just them getting shut off just by, hey, we're not quite winning the utility engagement. We're getting hosted and kind of stalled a little bit. So now they're going for that quick pre-fires. They're going to go in for the push, kind of start the engagement. And when you're stuck in mid-vent, it might not be the best ideal, but it's just something for now.
We are going to be seeing the aftershock. Gonna be able to clear the left side. However, Dema still standing close on the right. Not gonna opt in for top mid though. Instead, walking over towards sewers, looking to try and take their chances over towards the A site. They had a lot of misfortune towards B. They have the wall set up on both sides of the battlefield. Defense gonna look to have a lot of players opting in for the A site now as we do see the commitments coming in towards mid and A. The sniper having a little bit of a misread on the angle necessary as the Prowler comes online, going to be taken off the angle by the Poison Cloud as now the A site taken advantage of. They're going to instantaneously be able to make their way on through.
It's close. As you can see, they're getting the spike planted. They just got to try and hold it in the best they can, whether that be holding through elbow, pillar, catwalk, or hell. Because right now, it's going to be a hard push for these guys to try and push through. But as they can see with the fake coming out, it might not be able to find them enough. We just got to see how this starts with a quick engagement, but it's taken by Doxy.
Oxy finding the first, looking to bring the bonus into their hands as it's P3 getting the first on their side, going for a second as the dog gets taken down. Seta drops two in their fans, and that'll bring him over for the bonus round, making this game as even Steven as one could possibly ask for.
Oh, it's so nasty. I love the movement. I love the mobility. And that's why you have to practice your bunny hops. And especially when you're trying to go for those tight corner turns, you got to be prepared for anything because they've got their gun up. They know where your head is, and they'll just double click. One of the more important factors of this is the fact that even when they're trying to go through sewer props or trying to make their way through market, is but how well can you do that retake? Yes, if you push up too far, you can get punished. But here comes the quick from Seva, trying to go for a quick early start, but it's just barely stalled by the toxic wall.
And the light speed already extended, no longer having the recall either, so without being able to reflect, it does kind of limit the possibilities. The blind side comes out, the first gets seen, the second trades there with the op, as Dema picks off Repu. After that, Pinocchio's gonna look to have a lot of utility remaining, two dark covers in the lineup as a 3v4 situation, gonna have the possibility to make the rotation happen. However, it does seem as if they still want to opt in for the A site. Lots of defenders looming towards their spawn, not gonna try and take advantage of missing space. Instead, they're gonna just concede it all, look to play retake.
It's one of those things where you get caught in that choke point in A main, and you've got to decide whether it's best to go for a flank all the way back to your own spawn or not. You've got 45 seconds. It's a lot of pressure, but as you've said, they're just looking for that opening picker where they can get the idea of where somebody is. And here's the thing, they always can go for the eco. They can go for the slowdown and just wait. But getting that 3-1 isn't ideal, but having the gun up, having that eco could just be exactly what they need. But there comes the ult, quickly pushing up and trying to take A now.
Looking good as they get onto the site instantly. No repercussions being seen. Pinocchio's looking to play the angle, finds the equalizer, brings it to a 3v3, as now the operator seeming to have the information, knowing one player hiding behind the box. Now the Aftershock going to be able to push him out as they clear all of this angle. But now as the blind comes online, Decoy not going to be spotted. It's still the kill. P3 finds it. Pinocchios goes in, takes them while the angle's hot. And now the dark cover. Widow needing to do it all. The blind side not able to make the connection. Still going forward, but the time not there. A third round converts as the Cherries brings it back.
It's always hindsight 2020. You know it for a fact, and that's why we love it. Split is just one of those more intense maps because of how small it is, but also because of how long it's been in the game. It's got history. You know the cards. We all know the plays. When you've got somebody holding that long angle with an op, you really shouldn't be wanting to challenge it. If you got the perfect aim, go for it. But at this moment, you're not tense. You're not trying to go for that instant victory. You want to try and be like, hey, we've got the time. We can play it safer and we can take the eco. We can take the money and just walk away for it. And for now, it looks like they're going to try to go for a blind setup, which actually might catch somebody off guard, which could give them a huge pick taking out Loki here.
Oh, as the blind side goes in water, saturate from both sides. The Seas comes online, looking to do it all, refracting back to the earlier angle as a double kill comes out. It's great from Lokek. It's great from Doxy as they take him down and put him into the depths of despair. As now it's all up to Nomi's, who's looking to try and find something for us. Gur reaches on. They have your number, and they're not letting go. As now they have the information, they have the intuition. Another player lies in wait. It's P3 down as Doxy takes it. It's now up to Widow, who's in a 1v5, but can't make it happen. A flawless round converts, as it's the Cherries hitting the gas button.
R.I.P. Reaper is just absolutely dominating. It's coming out to their playstyle just being that much more strong, but also the fact that I'm not going to say exactly because I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I'm pretty sure Split's more of a defensive favors. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's those moments where now you're going to have to kind of go for that buy to try and get that punishment just to keep yourself in for this half. Because yes, you do have that switch coming up, but you want to try and go for that victory quickly.
Emma picks it up, but they get hit by the Seas, not able to capitalize upon it, though the DK will just relinquish, and that gives Dema the opportunity to take so much space up towards B main, as the operator in hand gives them the chances needed. Gur on the other side getting called out by the Haunt. One, not a second. Repu going to be able to stem the bleeding, not concede any more than they already dropped. But as the Phantom converts over to the attacking side, it is going to be the Parentless roster who gets a little bit more weaponry into the arsenal. They still loom towards mid, looking to get something done. But as it is going to be Lokek who has this blind online, Penio goes for the kill, finds it. Saturate comes online, not able to connect, but it's a firing squad as Pinocchios gets the triple kill, limiting them to one player all the way down. The utility flooding their way on through, but P3 can't make it happen against the Op of Vandal, both playing side by side. It's a fifth round as the Cherries making sure they're known for why they're the fifth seed.
You gotta say, it's one of those problems where you're trying to make the distance, you're trying to get your footing, but it just does not work. And that's one of the tougher parts of this. It's the fact that, yes, it's 5-1, but the comeback is still alive. You can still make the distance and still go for that run you planned out. Yes, you'd had that round where you can save you. You can decide, hey, it's fine. Now they have to pick up because here's the thing. Omen is just taking it. 10 kills. If that doesn't feel like a bit of a punishment, you don't want to be walking through the decay directly. But Dema's still going to go for the punishment to try and challenge it.
Good. The blind side might get utilized. Not going to be able to pick up too much, but Repu unable to dodge the full stun length. Now, is the Paranoia going to be able to make their connection as well? Dema's going to have all the space to play with as they get onto the angle. Lokek as well pulls up. It does seem to be all for nothing. As it's an A hit that is going to be under tow. Doxy to be taken off the angle. As we do see the Rolling Thunder coming online, Lightspeed as well. Doxy just finding the time. When do they peek out? They go! They find one! That's about all they're gonna get, though, as it gets instantly taken down. P3 dropping them like flies. Widow now coming online. A 2v2 ensues. However, the Snakebite going to be able to end it. As now 3v3 left into the wakes as which team finds it likely going to be able to change the pace, but as Gur comes in, shorty in tow, you had talked about the shotguns. I'll say it's certainly working now, but it isn't going to be for long. The blind side barely affects. It's P3, a triple, a quadra, a round converts as it's P3 to drop them all like flies.
Again, you can't just say that's down to Fade just being stronger. That is just down to the player being better. Rise to the occasion. The pressure was on. It didn't matter. Vandal in hand decides, you know what? I've got this. Challenge it. We go for it. It's one of those things where that initiator, that absolute domination coming out is exactly what was needed. But as you can see here, it's time for those lineups. It's time to get that smoke out and try to go for that stun. And the only thing is, can they get the right guess for it now? As we can see with Dema trying to go for a quick setup as well so he can be there to challenge. Because we've seen them walk through mid last time, and that was a bit of a destructive force. Now we just got to hopefully catch off one, but no, Brimstone barely saves it.
Back in a flash.
Oh, they might be. Will they turn off it for the sooner rather than later? The blind side comes out, not able to keep them alive. As Dema not able to make the connection with the op either. Sepha drops him down. The flashpoint comes on, but fortunately only able to connect to their own team, not the enemy. And as Dema still holding this with the operator, looking to get something done. We'll see what they can find as a 3v3 or 3v5 is ensuing. It's not looking good. Is all of mid control given over? And Repuisparentless might actually be able to make something happen as, barely unable to take this Yoru off their angle, dropping in the gate crash, able to get out of the fray sooner rather than one would have initially expected. As, Pinocchio is going to be taken down through the smoke. Fragi strikes them as 2v5, and it seems like this aggressive stance taken by the Cherries will be calmed, as it's now going to be around almost confirmed to be going the other way.
Well, it's never over till it's over with 2v5 and Breach still standing. Once they take him out, they might have a better chance, but Omen will be hunting, I'm sure. But now it's up to the players to decide whether they want to play it safe or whether they want to put a little bit of geck to this Echo at the moment. Two important factors is, yes, they can catch and get that exit pick they need, but at the moment it seems like their plan might just be to walk away for now. Try and make sure that they don't get picked off from their own spawn as they try to retreat. It has been said. That's pretty solid.
Good. I think this is going to be a fun match. I mean, obviously in the best of one, you really do have to play it as if it's a sprint. You don't have time to control your pacing. You don't have time to be able to kind of make it a longer game, right? You gotta have all the energy from the get-go. As if you step off the gas pedal, it really does kind of become a little bit of a rough spot to be in, and none of these players want that to happen. They want to have as much fun as possible and as little time as possible, and we'll see who's going to be able to find it in the end. But as of now, it certainly looks as if this game is going to be one for the distance, as lots of ultimates online for both squads. The Omen with the From the Shadows, very good at being able to combine with something like this Fade, who has that Nightfall in their arsenal. It's a situation where that sound cue being disabled is really nice. Pinocchio is going to be taken down, though, before they can get anything off. Paranoia comes out, not able to get onto Gray, as they are going to be going in. Finds the first as they bring it back to 4v4, but getting spotted, unfortunate. And Sepha peeking out. The team is in absolute nice coordination, but having to walk right back on in. Tragic, but low kick hitting oh my gosh, alright, that was nice. But we are going to be seeing the Nightfall coming online, as well as the Dimensional Drift, trying to end this round before it starts. Going back into Garage, trying to make a flank happen, as they are going to be able to put the pressure on. Going in, finding the first. Low kick takes the second, as that's a round to almost consistently being performed, as they've been so good at the retake. They do it once more. A 6th run converts after a 1 ult is all they needed to invest, or sorry, 2 ults is all they needed to invest. A phenomenal Nightfall, a phenomenal Dimensional Drift, get them the flank, and that gives them a great way to bring a 9th round to a close.
I've got to say, when the ults come out, it's such a cinematic moment. Totally and absolutely devastating for one side or the other if it's used right. And the utility from these teams, chef's kiss. everything is working out for them so much better. And I do have to make a mistake. I keep calling him Brimstone when it's Breach. I do understand that. And there's luckily no Reyna in this match, so I don't have to worry about that either. It's just the fact that I've looked at that majestic beard, and there's only so many people with a majestic beard in this game.
It
But
really is.
again, I wish there was more. But again, it's fine. It happens. The more important factor is how these two teams are playing. As I said at the start, when I looked at the stats and history, it showed that their aggressive playstyles were coming out. And it's just those moments where Gur has to now try and stay alive during the flash. But no, Sopa gets one, takes out Loki, and that's going to be a perfect start. But the acid burn is not going to be exactly enough to push to the way through. But the deterrent is set.
I mean, it's looking good. They have complete control over mid now as P3 able to find out onto Gray, taking the kill for their own. Is now a bit of an engagement, possibly to come out, but barely able to miss each other. The timing working very well for these attackers, as they're not going to be seeing any real fighting until they get onto site. And they do have that A completely for free. If they do end up opting into it, would have to make a phenomenal read, but it does seem as if that read will be seen, as they have 3 players over on B and nobody to defend on the A site. So it's looking like this round should just be converted, and it definitely seems as if that is going to be the case. As of now, Repuis is just going to instantly take this for themselves.
Oh, it's close, and you can feel the heat and the pressure waiting for that 3v5, having to try and go for that push. You hear the sound of somebody jumping, they'll go for the challenge, but get punished for it immediately. Unlucky, and there's Spike planted.
That is looking good. As Spike goes down, it's a 2v5 scenario. Is how they try and approach this. Do they try and make it work? You have the Operator, a very expensive weapon, and it does seem as if they have little care for that fact as they go in with the shorty and look to try and invest this round. After they find 2 on their own, it is going to be looking really nice, as there's only 2 players on site that have to be isolated. One goes down, second goes down. A 2v5 turns the tables as it's a round converted, and the Cherries pulling it back out of nowhere.
It's one of those things where even if you have the man count, you cannot let go. There's one thing that I absolutely love about this game, and I'm sure a lot of people will either agree or disagree. It's how much can change just from gun skill alone. Yes, your abilities, they can be nerfed, buffed, things like that. Normally, the guns have been pretty consistent. And that's where it's just like, all right, you know what? Don't worry about it. We're just going to go for the challenge. These are all players who I'm sure are reaching Radiant. As the timeout does come out, it is kind of smart to do this. Now, if I remember correctly, they only have 1 because it's 1 per map. So they can't go wasting it. They need to use it at the right time and go for that punishment immediately.
Like this could be very, very rough if you're on this roster, right? The parentless, they've been having such a difficult time being able to make anything happen in their favor, and the Repuis, they need to be able to turn the tides. They have a couple ultimates that could possibly be able to do that, but the Viper's Pit, strictly good if you can get onto the site. If not, it's pretty weak. It's pretty lackluster of an ultimate. So the Rolling Thunder might be able to have a lot of capability to be able to get them onto the site, but after the nerf to it, there's a little bit less opportunity to be able to stun off the whole site, unlike what it used to be able to make happen. So it definitely is a situation where Breach is just an interesting choice on this map. Obviously, Split has not been around in the competitive map pool for a hot minute, and because of that, not a lot of tournaments have these teams have the opportunity to be able to try and experiment with the initiators and finding what's going to be able to mesh, what's going to work, what won't. And I think that the Breach might be a little bit of an off pick compared to what one would have initially liked. But we do see the Hans coming in with the Rolling Thunder, both going to be able to make something happen. But Saturate coming through from low kick, able to extinguish the pressure immediately.
Well, that's where that moment needs to come, the pressure. Yes, you might have an operator in hand, but as long as they're not running an Odin or something like an Ares, you can win that. Beautiful shot coming out. Now it's the time for the next challenge. You know that the pressure always seems to be coming from A, so you get the line of sight. You try to go for that punish, and with a minute left, they know the timer is ticking down quickly.
That's a tragic situation. As I was talking about earlier, and I think it's more to mention, right? The double duelist composition. It's thriving so much in the current meta. When initiators get nerfed out of the ground, when sentinels get nerfed into the ground as well, it leaves you with this double duels that works so phenomenally, and Dema displays it so nicely as they're the one going for the op. They have their secondary duelist with the rifle. Gray picks up 2. Gonna be taken down, but not before the damage is done. Dema peeking out once more. Shots come in. And it's all up to Pinocchios, who's going to be able to pick up the last 2. The flank from B main, sitting in the shadows, working their way on through, finds an 8th round, and brings us even further. And oh my gosh, it is really looking like this first map of the day is going to be a banger to start us off for the rest of the night.
Well, you know it's not over. They could take us to overtime if they choose to. As that tick, tick, tick comes, it's all about how this team wants to play it. Yes, they've used their timeout. It's all about whether they want us to take us the first to 13 or whether they're planning to go to 26 or 27 or we go to infinite OT like in the old days. But for now, it's all about how do they want to set up. Repu here holding it, just the Omen waiting, trying to get that slide through. But it's never that easy with these teams. We've seen it now and again. It can be a punishment, especially if they try to go for this rush. 4-on-1, Loki holding the gun. It's all up for debate. It's all up for grabs.
The saturate will come online. Gonna be going in with the shorty, but a little bit too weak, lackluster, as it's Doxy to be able to pick up the kill. As now, already we do see the entirety of the attacking side maneuvering over towards B sites, looking to try and end where they've had a little bit of it's been a rough start, right? They haven't been able to make a whole lot happen on B. The magic has been kind of lit away, and now see what they can get done. Obviously, if they can get the Viper's Pit down, it could be nice. We do see the Shrouded Steps coming online, able to get them out of a sticky situation. The Viper's Pit comes online. Paranoia activate, able to connect onto 1, but that's about all they're going to be able to make happen. Still 1 player in Garage. Could be a real thorn in the side of the Cherries, but it is still just going to be rough, right? Pinocchios has a phenomenal angle they like to play towards, but the rest of the team, P3, certainly going to be able to make something happen if they try and go for it. Shots come in, but Pinocchios makes it work. Instantly gets traded out, but gonna be able to take out Lokak, who makes it back, equalizing the situation, as Nomis still playing on the default angle could possibly be seen as the blind side comes in. The shorty drops them down. Gray 1-2. The round converts. The half finishes as a 9-3 brings them to the attacking side with so much leeway.
Having the shorty take you out, that's gonna be a tough pill to swallow, especially when it was at that close range. You know you could win just by the head tap. It's not going to be enough. As we come to the switch, though, we only have 4 more rounds till our winner is decided. There's something that you got to understand, and I'm sure everyone at home knows this better than I do. When it comes to these moments where you've got those players 17 and 10 at the top of your board and 12 and 7, you kind of have to hope those lower 2 players on your teams both step up to make sure that your victory is comfortable for both sides. But as we haven't seen a sheriff yet, my opinion is wrong. Ghosts are coming out, and that's one of the more important parts. And classics and honor, of course. But we've seen these teams. When they do work, they go the distance. Nope, we just have to see how they go for that push. And an unlucky moment, of course, occurs, but it's fine.
I guess we have like a tech pause or something's happening. Not entirely sure what, but time did end up getting paused, and see what they do end up going for. Couldn't tell you. But this game has been so much fun so far. Obviously, it does make sense, right? Repuisparentless, they came in as the 12 seed. Meanwhile, the Cherries over here is the 5, right? It's a very David versus Goliath matchup in the group stages. Really, you can't expect a whole ton coming in. But yeah, Group E, there's certainly a lot of opportunities. Whoever, I guess, wins this will have to face off against the winner of the Artisans versus Bigway. And I think I've heard of the Artisans. Not sure who Bigway is. Not sure if they play in different leagues. But on the other side, we'll see what they do end up coming in with. Obviously, though, it's about to get underway as a big mid push does ensue. Lots of opportunity to try and get something done as the Haunt won't be able to find how many players, but they do see 1. They see 2. It's going to look good from the Breach Waylay combo, working in unison, finding the kills. P3 getting taken down. They've been a massive playmaker, and as them being the cornerstone of the defense on A, that'll really be a hurting point. Now, Nomis pushed up, looking to have that intuition. Somebody pushes out. Will it happen? Not entirely loving the way this attacking side is currently displaying themselves, but it is going to work out in the end. They're very isolated from each other. Now they do have the Omen Viper combo pushed up in CT as Lokek takes down. There's a trade coming through from Pengios, who's going to be able to find it off a line, but as Repu needs to make a 2v1 happen, a lot of magic required as they get spotted out off the audio cues. We'll see who's going to be the first one to strike as they do make their way on in. Gray with a headshot brings their skull crushed. It's a 10th round, finding double digits.
We're getting close. 3 rounds between them and victory. But it also comes down to the point of how sure and how comfortable can you be? Yes, you can buy the sheriffs as much as you want. You can buy as many Odins as you think you can win. It's all going to come down to, can you comfortably put them down in that situation that you need them to be in? Because it's A and B. You know how you want to try to go split. You can see the 3-5 split coming out. But it looks like the gamble might actually come out for the side of Cherry. But a quick knee shot. I used to be an adventurer and gets taken out quickly. Got to be prepared when breach happens. And they are. 4v5, they have to now go for the challenge. Shotgun in hand, but also the quick smoke flash and the timing, the pistol in hand, but it's not going to deal enough damage. Goes down, loses. It's all just going to come down to whether or not Zephyr can get this one. Just pick does come out, though, luckily enough. Repu's there to cover. It's all just going to come down to 3v4. No, 2v4 now.
Biding their time, the blind side comes online. Looking good, this round could mean a lot. As this was the last chance, and as the right click from the classic comes online, that's about all they're going to get. And they needed to be able to display a way to be able to make it, but it's just not looking good enough. It's an 11th round to be converted. That's 6 in a row, and it's just tragic, right? It's the side of the Parentless who's unable to make it happen in their favor, and as the 12th round seems to be looming overhead, there is still going to be the money to buy up. Now, the only thing that could be an issue is Repu, right? Repu having light shields traditionally won't be too much of an issue, but when you're dealing with an Outlaw and a Guardian, 2 guns that do thrive against light shields because of the fact that Outlaw obviously 1 shots, Guardian obviously 2 shots, it just looks such a good situation to be able to take out this Omen. The rest of the team, though, having the money for fulls, that is certainly going to be a big play, but it kind of begs the question of how much utility were they able to buy?
Well, the answer was not enough. Dama goes down, and now it's going to be up to how do they want to shut this down. Because they've got the momentum, they've got that man count, they've got the right read. That split of, hey, we now need somebody to rotate to A, should be called out to hopefully catch them all to get that pinch needed. But Doxy is here, gun in hand, so you can't really be guessing too much. It's all going to come down to who's got the game sense and the skill to put the pressure on.
E3 sitting in the corner, a bit of an off angle, looking to try and make something work with this. How much can they get? The answer, not enough! P3 will be shut down. Gray, not going to be good for 1, good for 2. As they have that snake bite still in hand, and the rest of this team of the Parentless having to go all the way for the hills, as you can't be conceding this round. It's a 3v4, not unwinnable, but certainly not easy.
You can say it's not unwinnable, but with an Omen, we've seen them do it before. If he gets one, takes out Loki after he takes out Widow, it's all just going to come down to that 1 HP in a dream with only 8 now. It's not ideal, but it's doable. Tries to go for the push, sees the Viper holding tight angle, tries to go for the push, but cannot land it. Gura gets the kill, and Doxy's there to finish. Takes out the Omen, and that's 12-3. 1 more round. That's all win. We're in the penultimate round of this game. Match point. It's all going to come down to how can they shut it up and how can they go for the victory. This is the time to buy and punish.
And with the eco being shattered, you got to imagine that these 5 Guardians being bought up gonna need to go huge, as it's not looking likely. It's not looking good. P3, they've been somebody who's looked decent, but they've been really the only big playmaker for this team, right? We saw Widow making a couple things earlier in the start of this game, but the blind side comes out. Repu getting taken off the angle. We do see the Shrouded Steps coming online, but it's not going to be seen. It's going to be looking good as the Omen diff. It's already making this game certainly seeming like Gray is going to be the one to put the nail in the coffin. A 3v5, almost impossible to be able to come back from this, especially in a B site something that is very difficult to play the retake well from. The blind side comes online, going to be looking good. They refract away after the light speed activates. P3 finds one off of the kill from Pingonia, but as Sova gets their diff, it's going to be the group stage. Game number 1 going in the favor by the looks of it, as there's not much you can ask for. The time runs down. The players drop to the ground. Dema takes them down, and a grand champion of the first game of the group stage, 13-3. Gotta give it up for the cherries.
Okay, Gary, I understand you're very happy that they are your team. But again, this is only qualifier stage 1. I love your energy. It's here. It needs to come down just that little bit more. We are not at the grand finals yet. We're not just yet at the world championship level, but they're getting there. That's the whole point of these qualifiers. You put your foot in, you get that opening pick. You keep going. This is the East Open official qualifier, January 2nd to January 4th. These matches will be going on for the next couple days, and that's what's important. These teams are putting that pressure on and going for that victory. I do have a couple numbers I just want to quickly throw at you, though. Paragon. I'm sorry, Panagos. I will put respect on that name. 22, 7, and 5. The rounds that they lost, first pick. And that is just very tough to handle, I'm sure. But, you know, when you've got somebody like Gray or Gurry, 17 and 9, the backup being there every time. And the only rounds they actually lost were coming down to the fact that they were getting picked. Pick, and pick. But it's beautiful teamwork coming out from these two sides, and you have to respect it. Again, P3, immaculate shots. I'm not going to say you need aim labs. The only thing I can ever say is teach me. Absolutely run the gauntlet. Does some great work. Just getting caught off. That's a bit of Valorant timing for you. It happens to everybody, I'm sure. And Cherry, give me a quick rundown of what your thoughts are as well.
I mean, I want to take back a statement I said towards the end of that game. Um, I said that, yeah, there wasn't a whole ton of star players besides P3, but honestly, I do take that back. I think that we really did see a bit of a strong performance coming in from Sepha, who 5 first bloods, not an easy accomplishment by any means. Obviously, when you're playing the Waylay, you have a lot of opportunity and a lot of pressure to be able to find those opening picks, be able to explode onto the site, crack it open. But they did it phenomenally, right? Just by going negative, they did put up a performance. Half of their kills were first bloods, and that's what you look for in a duels player. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see some good stuff coming from them, as they could definitely be the second team to qualify through the group stage. I haven't seen a whole ton from the other rosters within this group E, but there's definitely an opportunity for the Cherries to be able to make a win against Bago. I don't know how to pronounce that. Coming into their next matchup, because we did actually get the results of the second matchup in Group E, as Artisans did lose. So that is unfortunate for them, but we'll see who will be able to come out on top in those matchups.
You know what that means even more? It's the fact that, yes, we have the Czech team of the Cherries versus, I just gotta say it, but by Goo. I'm just gonna call him By for this one. And that kind of goes to show that their match as well was a victory on Bind. They had a really intense matchup, but we don't know what match we're going to get next. So whatever team we follow, be expecting for it, get ready for it. We'll catch you all in a second. See you in a second after this break.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're joining you once more after a bit of a dominant game number one tonight in Group E. We're moving over. We got two phenomenal teams waiting for us right about now. As we get over, it's the Rejects 2.0
Roka
versus.
Heat. I'm gonna quickly
Yeah,
interrupt
that
you because
one. I totally lost it.
no worries. I'm actually kind of excited this because I went and did some research, of course. Roka Heat has a longer history as a unit, but then we got VLC
Ooh.
Rejects having a longer team player history. They've got a lot more veteran players, a lot more rejects, got some other rosters put together in this hodgepodge and coming out looking forward to trying to be the next East champions. I'm kind of excited to see this. As we go to Bind, a map that I'm more comfortable on because of the double boxes, because of the craziness of it, but also the fact that when it comes to these teams, you just have to be that little bit more open and accepting because right now, no matter what you're trying to set up or trying to pick, attackers have 5 locked in immediately, not even gonna worry about it, and the defenders have to decide quickly of how they wanna play this. Because Bind is, I'm gonna say, a little bit more attacker favored just because of that nice rush strats you've got.
Yeah, we've been getting two similar maps tonight. We have the bind, we have the split. Both play very similarly, and in a little bit we'll be getting rid of that sunset, taking in the breeze. So really terrible map pool. I mean, these two alone have been my two least favorite maps, and then we're adding in breeze. Like, what are we doing, right? But very similar comps, right? A little bit of an addition coming online with the rays getting added, and obviously the brimstone getting put into both compositions as well. So no more omen for either teams now. the ideas behind controllers has been interesting lately, especially with the addition of Clove, whether teams like to run for that just all aggro attacking style of just playing for the duels and getting the ones well and over. But there's also that idea that we do see the teams within this qualifier going for pretty often, with that Omen Brimstone being really adapted into as two controllers that are very flexible, very playing for the team, not so much as yourself. And that's something that really does pay out dividends when it comes to a team-oriented composition, like what we do see from both these rosters. They like to run that Viper as well to try and be able to cut off sites and make it work for them. And we'll see whether or not that will work in this current matchup. But we do see a bit of a default starting off. So this might be a matchup that will play a lot more slower than what we saw last time. Two players opting in to double up towards long, but it is a first blood as the TP gets dropped in. It's a massive set plays. It works phenomenally in their favor. Almo comes into the TP of their own, and everyone spotted them, and they're just going to look to drop them right on down, going 6 feet under. It's a 4-player survival rate. Absolutely phenomenal coming on starting us off.
I've got to say, that caught me off guard. Again, I may not be a Valorant expert as an emergency caster as always, but when I see 4 people running into Octagon, running straight in the telly, and I was like, I'm in danger. That's all I'm thinking. The memes for days of, what are you going to do? The enemy's got a rifle pointed, and they're prepped. But now it's all going to come down to how they want to use this eke around. Double Sheriff in hands, 2 classics, and just hoping to get that little opener. But it's all going to come down to, can they get the right read? Can they get that punishment? But with Swing God taking that Swing God be swung roll to heart and getting the pick, it's all just going to come down to, how do they want to punish this?
We'll see what does end up happening, but as of now, it is just looking to play a pretty simple, pretty kind of calm style of Valorant as a 4v5 does loom overhead. Look at this Cypher on the bottom left of our map. Chewy, completely just in enemy territory. A very unconventional angle, may be able to call out this pair of 3, and yep, there's going to be an absolute firing squad as the Spectre reigns supreme, dropping shots into bodies, as now getting caught with the pants down. It will be the Sheriff to end their days. Almo able to convert a Spectre. They hear the reload, trying to connect the C's, unable to do just that. Almo fishing for shots, trying to swap to the Sheriff, getting that kind of into its own right, but unfortunately, it is just going to be that second round converted relatively swiftly, only dropping a single player once more.
You know it's a tough fight to start. As no matter how you want to play this, you have to leave T-spawn, you have to try and take the side cave, but the moment you get the fountain, there's too many decisions. But the wrong decision was have your back turned to the enemy in A-Link and just get punished for it. For now, we're just going to have to see how they want to play this. As you can see, the quick starting is just 4 kills going to Famo just to start this. So there's a feeling of missing out, or in this case, being included. And hopefully, Swing God can't get another. Luckily, just barely surviving it. But for now, they can retreat safely.
Swing God going to be really acting as their name, swinging into showers. Not able to make the connection, unfortunately. The Viper Orb going to go down as Stinger going to have to be forced back over towards long. But as we look towards back on A, so many players opting in highly. This set play could work out in its favor. Saturate comes out, looking at the rifle, instantly light speeds away. Stellar plays. Vasquez sat with nothing. Swing God picks up another. Monty drops him down. Despite winning the first 2 rounds, the bonus seems to really skyrocket this team to the next level.
Yes, the punishment's being called exactly when needed. Swing God decides to take the high ground to try and wait and hopefully get Alpha Mo. All just if they can land the shots or not. But Al can. He gets 1 but cannot get the second with Monty taking the kill. It's a 3-0 you want to try and hope for, but when somebody's hiding atop of a box, just taking Chubby from you, it's not nice, and it just has to be done sometimes. But now it's all going to come down to how should they want to play this. They were playing pocket quite strongly. They're trying to get it. Hold on. I support this decision entirely, 110%. Odin's being pulled out. This is the right time to do so.
I mean, I remember, I don't know if you're familiar with YouTuber TMV, but when he had made his video on the awards for 2025 and said that the Sheriff was the gun of the year. I really did not. I had a lot of controversy with that because the Odin's such a strong gun, but we do see a little bit of a great start as Vasquez is going to be able to take down Chewy, shotgun in hand, unable to make anything happen with the magic, falls down. Now it's a 4v5 already on site. The Viper in a stellar position, and this Yoru just checks the corner, takes the Odin, brings it to a 3v5, and despite winning, taking the eco through the ringer, it does seem as if Rokaheat might be unable to keep this going, but okay, there's the first. Is Theo going to be able to get it done? Second found. Saturate comes online, and we get 0-11 into a really rough situation, and they're going to drop for their suffering. And now it is just going to be a sheriff in hand. Tragic economy to have to make something happen. Swingon goes for the defuse, looks to half it, able to get it done. Snakebite comes online, connects the vulnerable, connects the kill. This game stays alive as a great start from VR2 to put them back into the match.
But I just love the fact that we pick up the superior weapon that has to be kept at all times. But also the fact that it looks like now that we have two great players trying to get that footing into the match, trying to waken up and get that standing, we have Swing God getting their ult just ready and prepped. I'm more worried about how the next round's going to be more than this one, because it's 3-1. Once their setting starts, once that position and pressure comes, with the Viper here with the lineup to start, perfectly landing, right? Yep, right at the feet of Coco, pushing him out of this position. But whether or not they can get one, does find Euro, has to find the next, but no, cannot do it. 0-1-1 gets the kill.
Dewey goes in, shot connects, but unfortunately will be to them. Odin online. At 9 HP, will drop to 0-2. He gets taken down. Nightfall comes online, able to stop halting their enemies in their place. Now it's a 3v3 and looking good. A lot of ultimates still available as they do have this convergent paths. If they do try and opt in for that long, it could possibly be able to pay out dividends. We'll have to wait and see whether or not that will be opted into. Not a lot of utilities. The smokes are relinquished. Do have the stim beacon. Could possibly look to utilize that extra in the horizontal movement to try and make something happen, but it's a very kind of static game right now, right? There's not a lot of closed angles, but as they go for a bit of a more dynamic entrance, they're completely halting. They stop the tempo, they close it down, and at some point, Swing God is going to get careless, you'd imagine. At some point, they're going to swing right on in, but it will work towards their favor. Taking it. Nobody would have expected that. You don't expect a swing. You'd think they're already gone. They waited so long, but it won't matter. Everyone crumbles. Everyone falls. 2 for 3. Drops to a 1v2. And now, Monty, needing to do it all, needing heroics. It's going to be likely that they will fall, but if they can make it work, they'll go down as one to keep this game in their favor.
Oh, you're right about that, but he can hear how close the spike is. He just has to guess correctly at where the opponent is, go for the pre-fire, and hopefully try and go for the shutdown. Because even if he tries to cover it, they will swing and go for the pre-fire. Odin in hand means they've got the bullets to try to go for that punishment, and it does clip his head at the end. Painful, but it's just enough time for them to escape without getting caught in the detonation.
And you really just can't be allowing this to happen. You need to, if you have that 3v2, you need to leverage that. You need to play crossfires. You need to make something that will work for your team. Unfortunately, they didn't have the time to be able to set up for it. And it kind of went down. And now the economy, despite winning the first 3 rounds, that last 2 have been absolutely detrimental into the success they were likely to go for. And now, just look at these numbers. You got a team with an operator and a lot of rifles versus a couple sheriffs in hand. And they would have really pressed the attack with these sheriffs as they're going in hot. They got the light speed activated, but a double kill coming in from the Brimstone. LV goes down as Swing God will be able to limit him for at least a little bit. But as Vasquez comes online, getting hindered, looking to get the shot, able to connect it. But oh, Kiyoki, all right, gets a double kill and brings it back. As Family is well pushed up, the sheriffs, the Bucky, it all works. And now they're already going to be able to put this dimensional drift into play as they need to be able to keep this arsenal alive. Goes out, takes the headshot, can't be letting that happen. As now it's a 1v1 up in hand, looking to possibly try and switch that out for a rifle. Would probably work a little bit better, but no guns on that B site to be found.
Now it's all about getting that line up and trying to find the Viper. Well, sorry, trying to find it, but it's all going to come down to the actual landing shots, and you can't miss it. Pomoke just takes it. It's one of those things where you might have the better gun, but if you cannot land the shot, it's devastating. Quickly swings it back to Swing God. And 4-2. We're getting that standing, we're getting the split, and the momentum is in the side. here's the one point. How do you correct this? How do you feel about trying to fix this? Give me a quick thought process on how they can try to clutch this back.
I think it's a little bit of carelessness in that last round. We saw the first two kills going over towards LVJ, who was able to kind of utilize his rifle in order to be able to stop the sheriffs in their place. However, after the trade came out, it became that 4v3. But even then, it didn't look phenomenal because the Viper just decided that that sheriff was going to be an absolute nightmare to deal with. Now this round does seem to be looking good. It's a bit of an equal economy, but the kill goes over. The Brimstone falls down. No more orbital strike to be found, as there is going to be the showstopper utilized in its full capacity, able to finding the one. But Chewy getting take from some higher verticality coming in from Vasquez. But as we see the convergent path dropping in, they're going to be there to hinder their opposition, utilizing the speed boost. Vasquez still going to take him down despite the jumping around, despite the heroics. Vasquez finds 4, but won't be able to get on for the ace, as they do get taken down. Famalki could possibly be able to find an ace of their own, currently having 3, looking to isolate, able to find this isolation relatively swiftly. However, it won't go their way. Almo drops them down, takes the 3rd round, and keeps this game competitive.
It's one of those things where they're trying to get the setup, and it's just the shutdown keeps coming out. One of these things you gotta remember is, yes, even if you've got your ultimate hand, yes, you can try to go for the swing, but if they can catch you off guard, it works wonders. The comeback is what we needed, and that's what we're getting to see, a true Valorant match to be played. These agents need to make up the decision how they want to play this, though, because if you try to rush through mid again, rush through A and go for B, or just try to clear through teleports, it could end up being disastrous again, as the tellies do start. And the first engagement does walk over 30 HP, though, on the side 11. How do you want to start this?
Okay, already going to be hit by the app. As we do see the gate crash, instantly going to be able to get them back into position. Looking to drop towards the A site. Nobody here to really hold, except for the Brimstone, who will not be spotted out. Nobody going towards showers. No potential to be able to crunch on them. But a sheriff is all they got. Not a lot of weaponry to be able to hold a site by yourself. But as the Cypher of Chewy comes over, it could possibly be able to make something work. Now, I don't necessarily appreciate this play, but Vasquez, despite it, will work in their favor. Going towards Lamp, very risky, as you know your opposition low on cash. Displaying their position, Monty going to have to back off. Going to be electing to still bide their time, not dropping in the orbital strike just yet, as this round doesn't seem too winnable. But Monty, despite it, still will be able to find the Brimstone diff, taking down their opposition. Going to be hit by the verticality, but it's almost dropped. Emily going to be taken down as well. 11 taking Swing God through the ringer, dropping them like a fly. Monty, they've been good so far this round, but unfortunately, the different positioning, Vasquez taking him down, equalizing this game 4-4.
You got to understand, when the equalization comes out, I'm sure Roka is feeling the heat now as well, because they've got all those ultimate pockets. They've been trying to play passively and save, but they've wasted so much of the credits on it as well. So it's like the money, was it a worthy trade, giving them that rounds where they can catch up now and now take that eco advantage? Not ideal, but you're still getting picks. So you're still in the match. You've still got the armor you want. So you can't be too out of sorts with it. Only problem is whether Swing God's going to be there to challenge you or not is all up for grabs.
What they can get is trying to fish out for some shots, unable to make the connection. There's still going to be the Boombot coming in, trying to clear. Will only be destroyed, not able to find the connection. Looking at this Yoru, going to have the intuition, going to be able to see them as well. Clearing out towards showers, unable to see anything. Now, there is definitely the option that this lumped group of people over towards B could just elect to use the teleporters. The Yoru still sitting here with the operator in hand, going to be able to clear out a lot of these angles. However, it does seem as if B does seem to be the all-in play. Finding the shoulder, unable to connect onto it, however. Now it is going to be the Yoru looking to possibly just utilize the teleporter, get with the rest of the team. Kiyoki holding this site. They have the Cypher to support him. Could possibly be enough, but as the paint shells do reign supreme. Okay, a little bit of overzealous. This comes in from the Yoru of this attacking side. And now it does seem as if they're exploding. They want to press the go button. The Nightfall comes online. Gonna be forcing Chewy into the back corner. Goes up, goes down. First hits found. 11 finds the trade. It's still a 3v3. Chewy still sitting within the smoke. Gonna hear the plant. The audio cue works for him as they drop in the ulti as soon as possible. Almo coming in. Goes in Swing God. Finds one. Gets a trade. Goes good. Almo drops out of hookah. Dies for their sins. And that's gonna do it. A second 2 rounds in a row, and that really gets canceled immediately, as it's going to be a great working unit from Roka Heat to give them the round.
Gonna say, much better start than what we've seen in the previous rounds, but also a much more chaotic ending. One of those things you have to understand is the fact that these teams are trying to give that setup, trying to go for those punishments, trying to give that little bit of a stall that they need. Issue comes when you get red like that. It's not ideal. For now, though, quick smoke to try and stall. Gets one through it, though, through the wall as well. Tries to go for the push. But as the chase comes out, Swing God gets away unscathed. Good pick. 4 for a 5. I'd say that's a good trade to start.
Swing God has been an absolute nightmare so far this game. And it certainly doesn't seem like they're stopping anytime soon. You get to see this Viper Almo. Can they be able to tell the rest of the team there's a Cypher setup, but that's about all they have here? Could possibly cause a rotation, but as Swing God falls, that might just be the cue to say, all right, A will be the site to go towards. Famically, Famulki going to be able to back off. Haunt won't be able to get the detection. The Yoru dropping HP, still alive, still standing, as the Orbital Strike does come online, looking to do something good, but oh, Chewy able to find the detection. The rest of the team rotated over immediately. Chewy, judge in hand, gets the Qs off, unable to make their presence known as they still keep that cam alive. 011 goes for the fade diff, able to get theirs down. Second kill for 011 is now Chewy. 1, 2, not 2. It's only 1, and Chewy's going to drop for it.
Up with fight going down. That actually means the pressure has now been switched. That's where Roka is going to have to wake up here, where Kyoko can be the one to put this down and take these 3 players. Hopefully finding the Brimstone, regardless of being able to challenge the Odin with a proper fight. But no, Wallbangs come out and takes the challenge. It's 5v5. You got to understand, green on the left is Roka, and right-hand side is VLR, Valorant Ejects. And that's one of the most important things, because they're rejecting the losses. They're going for that victory and are here to punish. And that's kind of what we need to see.
Valorant Rejects are mounting this comeback. They certainly are looking to be able to bring this back into their favor. We'll see whether or not they're going to be able to do that. The attacking side should be a little bit more favorable. You'd imagine that that should be something that these two teams are going to be favoring significantly with the compositions that they hold. The Saturate looking to limit the possibilities, dropping into this corner to avoid the Haunt, but the Odin still sprays wide. Is now a second kill with the Odin through the wall. Great work coming on through, as now it's the Viper Cypher combo. Now as we look towards the Cypher, still gonna be on the flank. Almo has the angle, has the intuition, it's happening. But oh, LV gonna be taken down. Kiyoki judging their own little bit of a stronger shotgun than what you're carrying. Now it is gonna be Almo walking away. Chewy, it's gonna look to possibly die to the spike, maybe go for an exit pick.
You say that, but it's all about that pressure that they have to find now, because spike's down. At this point, you want to just take the exit frag and just chill, because you have a sheriff. Yes, it's a wonderful gun, as you've said previously, but it's no, you don't have the bullets to challenge everyone. If you do, you have to make sure every shot counts. And as this quick engagement starts to come in, could be one finding it, but no, Cypher is just going to try and block the line of sight and beat it and hopefully go for a pick here. Can find it, but no, he loses life just at the end. Oh, it was only a couple more seconds till detonation. Could have just held them there and stopped it. But 6-5. As we get to that halfway mark, I could see us going to the 12-12 and going to OT. But it all does come out to whether they've got the right amount of eco, whether they've got the right amount of credits to even try to challenge, and whether or not they can get the right reads. Because right now with the Viper from this team, it's working really well for them. Yes, and the idea that it's a good shut-off and just to try and give that controlling aspect to the game. But also the fact that, you know, They're completely reading the opponent every time.
It is honestly a bit unfortunate if you're on this Roka roster, right? Roka Heat, they are running a very defensive-based composition with the double controller plus the Cypher. As we do see the ultimates getting dropped in, we do see the convergent paths trying to open it up, trying to inflict some damage, but unfortunately, nothing comes of it. Only Kyoki's able to make something happen, not able to get a second either, and it will all go down. The half instantaneously ends as it's 7-5 going forward.
7-5. I'm loving the faster rounds come out from it, but especially when the switch happens, that's when it needs to be flicked. That's when your brain needs to waken up and go for that challenge. Ghosts out, Shotties out, Sheriffs out. It's these moments where we've seen a good start. You get a good gist of how the opponent plays on their defense or on their attack. But now that we're going to go to that switch, now we get to see how Vasquez tries to play defensively. It's whether they've got the right read on them. And that's one of the important problems. Swinging on attack just means more aggression. Swinging on defense means, hey, let them come to us. So whether Swing God can answer the name or not, it's all going to come down to this classic in hand.
Let's say we did see this exact map coming in from Roka Heat last game in the first group stage matchup, and they were able to find it 13-11. So they do have comfort when it comes to going the distance. Dewey's able to find the first, taking the pistol to the head as Vasquez gets a double, looking for the triple. Paint shells come online, exiting off of lamps, grouping up, doing over LVJ down off of Monty. But now as Vasquez dropping as well, it's looking good. It's 5-7, and it might just turn tables as Dewey very close on the spike, looking to just leverage this time bank, needing their opposition to start wondering how much time they have, how much opportunity they have. 1v1 scenario. Monty looking to play time, dropping back into main, goes forward in 0-11, picks it off to take the spike.
I'm not sure how to say this, but it feels like Monty might be the better Brimstone. Just getting caught off guard and then now losing it just at that last little moment. It's not ideal, but there's a lot to learn. And that's one of the best parts of this game. You have so many characters, so much reason. And you know what? You can just go for that fade. If you don't feel comfortable with it, bring fade, bring raise, and just go for that double kill. Two teammates absolutely working great in tandem. And that's one of the more important facts of this. Something you do have to worry about, though. When you've got the scout rifle in hand, you just got to wait and get the right read. Whether the 11 from Fade can start it. The call out was there and the shots landing perfectly. Double taps. But the trade was equalized very quickly. So 4v5, but Sheriff half HP is a really, really close to dead man standing. Hopefully, he can rotate back this team and try to regroup.
They both took their last games to bind. Both had very different experiences there, as one took it 13-11, one took it 13-2. Definitely would, off the marks, say LVJ has a lot going for him, but Monty still looking to make this round pricey. Still looking to bring the expenses. But as Vasquez had 150, you only took 140. And that'll bring him a 9th round. And they're looking to close the door. They're looking to drop it right now. But unfortunately, there's still opportunity. There's still time. And if you can get this bonus, you're still looking pretty.
I'm just wondering, how do you take that, I'm going to say it, loser's advantage, and turn that into that winning goal? Because 5-4, yes, you might have the ego to challenge it, but if you lose it here, it's just going to come down to how well can you actually punish them for a pure gun skill. As they try to go up with it, location advantage, Vasquez gets one, takes out Swing God. And now it's about trying to get the read onto the other. Cypher tries to go for the challenge block, but nope. Shotgun in hand, tries to challenge it with FOMO, but can't land it. Fade gets one, gets the second. Cypher goes down as well, but Monty's there. He kicks out his brother, but Vasquez there to recoil and get that refrag that was needed. It's one of those moments where now it's a 1v4. You know, if you lose this round, they got the advantage as best they can, and that means they could easily take it. You try to go for the challenge, but you can't land your shots, but it's enough when there's a 3K coming out. Beautiful shots from Viper, but it's not going to be enough when the enemy's one's just slightly stronger.
Unfortunately, right when the pressure almost gets relinquished, that's when Almo is able to step up, take the kill, take the game even further. As now it is going to be a 3-round lead on the half, as you can't be letting this happen. 5 rounds above them in total, doubling your opponent's score. And this pressure, 6 in a row, you need a win. But now the economy faltering. And that's something that really does happen to teams, right? Once that snowball starts, it's excessively difficult to be able to close it. And if you can't do it here, you can't do it now. It definitely does begin to beg the question of when.
The answer is when, and you keep keeping us waiting like this, looking at how these teams are trying to go for the punish, and the beautiful shot comes out. Now it's a 4v5. Whether they can get the read, Swing God just barely swings past it. Keeping herself alive, tries to go and gets the read, goes to the punish, shotgun in hand, uses the recall just at the right time. Now has to try to go for the arrow, but can't land the shots. Close, waiting for it, but the Viper wall comes out enough to push them off stage. For now, it's just going to be timing.
We talk about the damage Swing God did with this Bucky onto the opposing Brimstone. I mean, that should not have happened. That was some crazy damage that they were able to make happen with the Bucky from that range. Unfortunately, they were not close enough to be able to make the kill convert, but it still is nice. It still is cool. 11, a great position to be in. 1, 2, 3, everyone falls as LVJ is going to pick up the 4th, keeping them bright and early with this Phantom in hand. And now 1 round away from hitting match point.
I'm just gonna say it because that felt like a better ending than the Stranger Things finale. Just watching 11 take out 3 of them at the very end, satisfying, necessary, essential. But 5 and 11, you gave them too much runway, and now they're just gonna go the distance. But again, it's never over till it's over. You've got to make sure that you can catch the Cypher and stop him when he's out of his books. Because the moment he drops the shield, it's going to be difficult to try and get the right time. As Viper pushes up into her own smoke, hopefully tries to catch Swing God here. But it's whether she can get the Brimstone. No, Swing God gets it actually and gets the punishment. They try to get 1, and can they get the second? They do. They get 11 as well. Becoming a 2v3. Euro gets out of there safely, but now they have B-side control. They just got to try and get the cover. Chewy is there to get Vasquez. Euro gets 1 on the Swing God, though, so the trades are coming out with a beautiful shot from Brimstone getting Chewy. But Euro's there with the operator, gets 1 pick, tries to clear sight, and now has to go for the defuse.
Something we're going to see later is this kill coming through as LVJ pulls it forward. Now Kyoki needing to go big, needing to go massive. Swing God started it. You need to be the predecessor. But as Kyoki drops HP, knows where both are, finds the first, looks for the second. Shotgun brings them down as they have just enough time to defuse this bomb, bringing them match point.
It's terrifying. It really is. Looking at these teams' play styles, but then also having them go for that punishment. It's wonderful, but it's terrifying. 12 and 5, the penultimate round again, meaning that, hey, you've just got to hope you can get that shutdown. You've just got to hope to try and push through and get the victory. Right now, it's all going to come down to whether they've got the right read or whether or not they're going to lose it all. This is the time. And that's what I'm going to ask you. Is there any moments in this Cherry that you've been worried about? Because right now, I'm seeing a lot of good plays, but I just can't see the tactician come out for them.
Looking tragic. We see both Brimolts getting captivated. Unfortunately, the orbital strike's not really going to be able to make too much happen, as we do see the convergent paths taken down. No more ulti available for the Waylay of this Swing God, but they've been a real playmaker, so dropping them in any capacity is really just too much to ask for. Vasquez is going to be able to find the second, finding the third, as now it's LVJ looking to put the nail in the coffin, going to be Chewy, getting the neural theft online. They peek in, Almo takes them down, Kyoki. A 1v4 awaits. We've seen miracles from them. We've seen magic being performed, but the stress, the pressure, the amount that they need to do the heavy lifting. Still, it's one step at a time. They're able to find the first, trying to dodge the Nightfall, slipping into the corner, unable to make that happen. Peak comes in, Almo ends it, 13-5 as they advance to the group stage. I guess not group stage. They advanced to playoffs now.
Beautiful. It's beautiful just watching the ending of that. High intensity, high energy, just the punishments coming out back and forth. The teams tried their best to actually make sure that, hey, we don't have to worry about gunfights. And then just the beautiful plays to try and open up, getting the man advantage, trying to go for count. Then it just had to come back in the best way possible. And that's what we love to see. I'm going to ask you this, Sherry, before I go into stats and numbers and stuff. What did you think?
I definitely think that we're gonna be shouting out a lot of these Vipers. I think both of them were phenomenal. I think that Almo especially was a real playmaker for this team. That's something that really does have to be spoken to, right? Them and also from the other team. I think that you can give MVPs to both teams. I think that's really something that just kind of go to show the dominance that we've been seeing within the VCL so far, with the amount of talent that's been fleshed out and being shown, especially here in the spotlights. It really does it goes to Swing God, right? I think Swing God was a phenomenal player. We probably saw them getting first bloods at least a third of the time, I'd say. I mean, that might be a little bit overzealous of me, actually. Maybe not that much, but um, there was a lot. There was a lot. I mean, Swing God was a real playmaker. Almo was a real dominant force to be able to hold that site very well. And just going to go to show, right? Like this bind map. It's a map that we've seen this team dropping in Rocco Heat. Sorry, they've been very good. They've been phenomenal when it comes to being able to keep this alive, keep this good. But VR2, I mean, they are very, very good when it comes to capitalizing on these Cypher trips. We saw this Cypher of Chewy unable to really get much done against Vasquez on the Rays. And that was something that really does go to show the prevalence of that player, right? Like this Vasquez. They were able to get 29% of the team's damage just by themselves. And just it's just insane how good this player was. And I think that's something that will be continuously seen. So VR2, they're gonna go on. They're gonna go up to the playoff bracket. Roca Heat, they have one more chance now. We'll see whether or not they're gonna be able to make that happen.
It's close, it's tight, and you've said everything I had to say actually in my notes as well. So that means we'll go to our break. Don't go anywhere. We still have a couple more matches coming over. And that also just means, remember, these qualifiers go on for days, and then there's more throughout the year. If you love Valorant, make sure to follow this channel, make sure to subscribe. And, just be here and watch and entertain. Get some water. We'll catch you all in a second. So, see you after this break.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're joining you one last time for this epic Friday as we're heading straight on over. As we got two phenomenal teams waiting in the wings for us. LPL Mix taking on Elite Clan. Winner of this will go off to the playoffs. Winner will be able to take down the loser who goes down in the East Open qualifier. Obviously, this is a big tournament, one of the biggest EVC has ever done, as winner of this goes on to the qualifier to play into a qualifier for VCL. Big stuff ahead of them as we'll see who's able to make it. Because honestly, I'm super excited to see what does end up happening in that official qualifier since you got a lot of teams coming in there. I know like Checkmate is playing in there, maybe like Team Liquid Academy as well. Lots of big orgs, lots of names, and you're going to want to play against them. So we'll see who's able to make it happen here.
You are right about that. One of the more important factors of this, and something that everyone must watch out for, is no matter how you want to play it, you've got Watch Me Fall versus Rain, some really good teams, especially on a map like Sunset. Yes, this is just the day of retro beta maps. This is all back to the start of how we used to play originally. The game's changed so much, but we love it. One of the more important factors is Elite Clan versus LPL. This is a bit of a strange thing for me because all I'm hearing is we have the elite of Valorant versus the elite of League of Legends. And that's just kind of confusing me because I'm expecting these teams to put the pedal to the metal. I'm expecting them to be uncaged. And as we're waiting for the final player just to do that selection, it looks like it could be Cypher, but there's a high chance they're going to switch to Arena. And I'm going to ask you this, Cherry. What do you think of these team lineups right now? Because they're basically mirrored.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense, right? You're going to want to try and play the composition that works with your team the best. And this is just something that's going to work with it, right? Obviously, the Cypher does seem to be hovered, maybe locked. And Sunset is a weird map
Ooh.
when it comes to Sentinel compositions. You do have a lot of options. Now, the Cypher is likely the best option you could go with. However, Cypher in general, not a very strong character after the nerfs. Debatably one of, if not the worst Sentinels currently. But the idea of running a Killjoy into this doesn't necessarily work too well, especially when you're not really prepared with such an agent. The only other option I could really think of is like either a Deadlock or a Chamber, but both of those don't really have that defensive capability that one would
Mhm.
necessarily appreciate, especially with the kind of way that Deadlock's trips have been reactivated towards, where it no longer really is just a, okay, you moved, you get stunned. It's now very easy to dodge it more than it almost ever has been. And that's something that really does kind of lean teams away from the idea of playing it into this. So the Cypher, it's an option that really should be able to work relatively well. Beyond that, the double Yorus on both sides makes a lot of sense. Yoru, one of, if not the strongest agent within Valorant, as well as the Neon, who also is extremely prevalent when it comes to their attacking side. I had mentioned earlier, I believe, on Split, that double duelist, and we're likely going to be seeing that throughout the entirety of this qualifier throughout this weekend. So I'm super looking forward to seeing what they do end up having. The gate crash instantly gets activated as Toronto going to be taking a ton of damage to the front as everyone now going to have to back up as mid control's been taken, but they instantly pivot away, looking to possibly end up towards A. There is still going to be an Omen sitting there ready to strike. Now, look at the prevalence that is currently being shown towards mid. Lots of players opting in, but watch me fall. Going to have that audio cue. Now they look to make the paranoia work.
Ooh, you can see it's getting close, it's getting tight, and it's getting hard. Everything is going to have to come out to whether they can be fighting this out. With Toronto having half HP, Uncaged prepping for the angle, but Ellie taken out by Toronto. Sheriff, fantastic weapon, especially when it lands. Only problem is, how well can they push through? They try to go for the smoke and hopefully try to go for the plant. But with Watch Me Fall hiding behind it, but he cannot land the shots. He gets taken out, but with the quick refrag covering out for the teammate, it's just enough to cover. But the Mini Boo fan is here to go for that plant. It's all going to come down to the read, and it's worked perfectly. Uncaged, though, has been shacked, is stuck tight in the corner, has to be pushed and supported. But Rain is here to get it, and it's working. It's coming down to that 1v2 now, but Toronto doesn't know exactly what team is. Trying to go for the bait, knowing where one is, has to guesstimate the second. Can he actually land the shots? No, finds, goes for the push, gets one on the Omen. Now it's just up to trying to get the ring around the Rosie, but no, the flick comes back and lands perfectly.
Unfortunately, a little bit too fast on the shot with the Sheriff, and will be limited. Mini Boo fan able to take it as they bring 4 kills for the team, only one off of it, and on the opposite side, it was very, very close, right? This game definitely does seem to be one that will likely go the distance, which is nice. You know, we like to see these longer, drawn-out games. So far tonight, we've only really been seeing games that have ended relatively swiftly. Uncaged, opting in for an Outlaw, as well as the Sheriff being bought for Toronto. This could be pivotal, as there's 3 full shields bought for the enemy side, so that could possibly be something that could really put the hurt on the defensive side that they opted in for this Outlaw. Now, only 2 players who went for the white shield, something that allows you to get the one shot with the Outlaw. Maybe those are going to be players you can be able to find contact with, but if not, it could be really rough if you're uncaged.
You could say it's rough, but with this map, how it works is yes, it's got a 14% player like every other map in this game, but when Uncaged takes out Rain, it doesn't feel as defender side as it should because it's a 50%. And that's actually, it's closer to 51 in most numbers. But this map is a bit more defender favored, which is kind of nuts actually.
Exactly where you needed that shot to land. Rain taking down the smokes, taking down the player with the white shield. Exactly would have worked well. Kizzy gets down. Ellie finds it. Now Uncaged, peeking back in the fast lane. Down! Uncaged brings another offline. And despite the money differential coming into this, does seem as if it could be a little bit rough, putting him through the ringer. Toronto picks up 1. The player with 5 HP. Not the one you would have liked, but the headshot does come landing nonetheless. Eli brought down onto Tyson. Now, watch me fall. Will need to be able to do it all. Heroics necessary. We know the one shot is there for the Sova. Not totally sure on Eli, but start off a good smoke. Breaking cam. See what they got. The Owl Drone will make first contact. Peeking right off. Gonna find it. As it got dicey, it got close, but in the end, the investment of the Outlaw will be a little bit punished, and that means that the money Uncaged spent now going to be non-existent. They go for a Spectre buy into this next one. That could possibly be nice, but it's definitely not the game you want to be playing if you are on this defensive side.
Well, they've chosen to empty the credits, empty that bank account, and it's all going to come out to whether this is the right read. But now, since it is sunset, it's a couple things you got to remember that's important fact. Yes, you have so many good rotates. Yes, so many doors you can close and try to go for the shutdown. But the lineups are what are necessary most of all, as the quick run through, quickly trying to find a pick on Ellie but can't land it. Hopefully they can start this in a good way.
Yeah, Miniboo fan already taking complete control over CT with a Bucky in hand. The Owl Drone detects him, but so many players locked on in. We see the relay bolt coming through. Toronto finds one. Kizzy gets a double. and now it's a 2v5, and nothing remains. Everyone falls as a round instantaneously converts. So despite it looking rough with the investment last round, it really doesn't matter, as they consistently are just going to be able to find these kills despite a hefty investment towards CT, looking to gamble their futures away. Didn't pay off, and now it goes over as Toronto picks it up, takes the ulti in hand. This could be really good, as they're going to look to make this defense even stronger.
This goes here.
It's one of those things that worries me now, is the fact that we're getting to see their great playstyles come out, but we're also getting to see that high tension. They're trying to go for that push, but whether they can actually grit their teeth enough to try and claw in, it's all coming down to whether you can fall upwards and succeed, or whether you fall hard and hit the floor, because it's getting close. And with Omen trying to go for that quick ability, trying to hopefully start the smoke, he cannot find it.
Getting rough as Watch Me Fall picks up the first, looks for the second, unable to make the commitment. Rain is able to limit the damage. Only takes one shot to the body, as now Rain holding this next angle. Maybe will work. Uncaged, gonna tap the head. There's now a 4v3. Couple ults available if they want to try and opt in for him, but Eli gonna get theirs first, instantly utilizing that neural theft as they pick up the locations. Uncaged instantly goes to the rotate. All players available, stopping the plant for at least a second as they're fishing for shots, unable to find him. Eli in such a good precision location is extremely precarious, and they go for the first, able to connect it. They drop in the ulti from the Neon, but despite the overdrive, it's only invested for nothing. Kizzy comes in, goes for the damage, unable to make the shots commit. This Sova needs to hold wide. Belgrass takes them down. Toronto tries to get something done and dusted. They dodge the dart, but as they go in, still looking rough, still looking like this round could possibly sway the tides. It's going good. Mini Boo fan pulls it off and takes the third round.
Gotta say, night. After a flawless round, then coming into a true fight like that, not ideal. The 3-1 though, coming out for the attack favored side, that's not a great position to start in. But from what we've seen, there's a high chance that that could just be the read of, hey, we got the money, we got the eco, it was just a 4-round that time. Clutch back. And that's completely up to them. These teams do not have that much of a history against each other if you look at their stats. But as players, I'm sure they're meeting in ranked constantly, being on friends lists and just being there for the challenge. But as Omen barely survives, jumping around the corner there quickly, Watch Me Fall has to be the one to try and protect Sight on his own, getting peeked from both sides with a little bit of team support. Hopefully going to be able to catch the Cypher, but no, Cypher gets two beautiful picks. Ellie takes out Toronto and Watch Me Fall, and has trying to go for the next Kizzy, dancing in the smoke here, trying to go for that read as Uncaged catches Omen, takes out Rain. Now just has to push up fast to get that advantage and get the pressure up. But Vertigas gets one, takes out Kizzy. Ice gets another, takes out Ellie. It's just going down to whether or not Uncaged can swing and get this pick close, or whether Ice can get his own. Ice gets one. It's now just up to Uncaged, down to Mini Boo fan to try and take out Uncaged. Goes for the shot, but cannot land it.
Ah, that's rough. Uncaged pulls it off, takes it down. They keep this game competitive, keep this game alive. Now, both these compositions likely going to be favoring their attacking side, so being able to find 2 rounds despite losing the pistol is still looking nice, still looking pretty, as it could definitely be a strong game for these 2 rosters, right? They have that experience. They've already played 2 best-of-1s tonight, and we'll see what they can end up getting to further us off. Eli especially, already 7-4 on the KD, definitely a player who's going to be opting in for a lot of aggressive angles with his Sheriff this round, but against this Outlaw brought in by Uncaged, this could be a massive weapon to be able to utilize the fact that your opponents have that light shield and no shields and capitalize completely. The 140 damage, certainly not anything to laugh at, and we'll see what they can get, right? There's a couple ultimates on the field. You got that Neural Theft. You got the Dimensional Drift. Both are superstar weapons in their own right, but the smoke not high enough, connecting onto the first, but it will be the trade. Watch Me Fall down. Kizzy, Toronto, working in unison, takes them all down. TPing with the Shadow Steps. Won't matter. Eli, last player alive, tries to make the connection only to the body, and that'll do it. 1 CE brings them down, equalizes the game. 3-3 is the score.
Oh, that's tough. You try to push down through the A-link and try to hopefully go for the pick, but when somebody's watching you like that and catching you off guard on King, it's tough. It's not ideal, but it does happen. One of the more important factors of this game has just been this team playstyle, the team cooperation. When they're all as a unit, it seems to be phenomenal. And that those last 2 rounds do go to show it. It's no diffuses, just pure skill, pure kills, and taking out the play as they shut the doors quickly and hopefully try to slow down their opponents. Probably for the best.
Looking good. Lots of ultimates available for both teams, right? There's 8 on the battlefield currently, and you'd imagine a couple are going to be pops. We saw the Neon ult earlier that got completely extinguished as soon as it got popped, taking the angle. Rain, unfortunately, jumping, but there is going to be the paranoia as well at the relay bolt. Going to be the first one. Uncaged takes it down. Second found from Uncaged. Kizzy with a double of their own and bangs the last one alive. There's going to be the blind side, comes on out, able to dodge, able to find the first, looking to take as much weaponry away, taking the economy down, but it will be all for nothing as 1CE2K brings them down. There's the lead going over, converting to the defense.
It's tough, and you gotta accept it. When moments like that, an elite take it and just make it so much more personal. The 2 exit frags, exactly what was needed. Going down swinging. As we've seen in the past, if a team can do that, they can take everything and go for that punishment. Only problem I'm worried about, I'm sure everybody else can agree. As we're heading into this B-bomb, it looks like they're going to go for that push straight in, try and take it. And we've seen this work for them before, but you had to get the read correct. As Uncaged is known to go for that flank, it could end up being a disaster if you don't catch it off guard. Hopefully Eli's here ready, prepared to go for that call out. The smoke comes up. Is it going to be the correct read as Miniboss uses the ult, pulls out the pistol, but is it going to be enough?
Looking good. Uncaged finding the first, shutting down the opposing Neon. Mini Boo fan down. Second gets taken, sliding in, getting the third. But there's Watch Me Fall taking one, going for the second, barely living with their life. It's good. It's great. It's all Elite Clan fades, and they're going to take the 5th round. They want to really start boosting his firepower to the next limit, and Uncaged pulls out an op. This could possibly just be the half snowballing out of control.
You will have to correct me if I'm wrong. What are the names for the finger guns on from Miniboo just now? Because I do not remember the name of that ult.
Oh,
now that Uncaged has it.
Overdrive, yeah.
Overdrive, thank you. But
Yeah,
now that Uncaged has the overdrive, we can hopefully get to see it get put to good use on her for the chance. Because right now, the gun exchange is quickly starting again. And they're trying to go for that push up in the mid to get that control. And maybe go for that passive push round, hopefully going through their own T-spawn and trying to get it. But as we know, with Elite being crazy and close, whether Rain can get the read correctly and get the pick, it's all going to come out of this moment.
Oh, but look at the aggression from the defense. Looking good. Elite Clan gonna have to worry about it, but Uncaged finds the first. Toronto drops into... Oh, Rain's gonna be able to take the second to give them the bit of a man advantage, especially when you have Uncaged at such low HP. But despite it, Kizzy takes him down. 2 ultimates still remaining for both sides. You have that Hunter's Fury, able to one-shot the Yoru on the opposition, as well as the Neon. Both can get tapped and taken down. Will they be able to make that happen? Is a 3v3 on the site. Velcro is going to try and get something done. Instantly decoy gets broken. Eli, not seen just yet. Could be a little bit rough as the dimensional drift not spots them. Could be really, really bad. Eli, not knowing that it didn't spot him. Watch Me Fall takes the first. Eli gets a trade down for the count. There's Kizzy. Triple kill from Kizzy. Takes him the round, and that gets him 6.
It's these moments where they're coming down to emptying the tank. And now they're getting close to that flip moment where, hey, just use your eco, buy everything, use all your credits, spend it, get it going, buy the operator, buy the Odin if you need to. It's time for that crutch moment. It's time to try and take this and get that advantage where you can just easily take that victory and shut down any plan they could possibly have.
What they can end up getting with this, but it's definitely looking good, right? I mean, it's definitely, this is 5 in a row at this point. Uncaged getting hit with paranoia, relay bolt in response. Mini Boo fan right up ahead, but 2 players Not something you can easily foresee, but it will still be there. Eli going to be putting up the cage, trying to get the opposition backed out. Lots of players seen as the Owl drone able to make connection. The blind side comes in, bangs, peeks, takes it down. Watch me fall. Now going to concede the space. Backs up. 2 TPs remaining. Could possibly opt out. Will be faking the TP away as they still get hit with a bombardment of shock darts. As now, watch me fall. Still not detected. Nobody knows. They peek out. Still seen. Rain gets him down. Uncaged takes Very down as well. The 3v3, and it's looking good. Uncaged, they have only that one piece of utility. Not a lot to be able to work with, but it is still Bangs, who's been a real playmaker so far this game, and they're getting completely crunched. The flank exists. The player in elbow exists. There's one in main as well. It's completely collapsed. All extremities held. Uncaged finds the first as they want to bring it even further. They want to skyrocket themselves up to the playoffs, and they're going to be able to make that happen. Not just yet as Eli drops them down after they get the overdrive. As now it's all up to Kizzy. The HP still not high. The first gets found. The decoy exists. Could be nice. Goes for the first. Gets the second. And that'll do it. The round commits. And there's an all but Kizzy falls to the ground.
It's tough when you're in that 1v1 and then suddenly it's a 2v1 and you have to try and get the right guess. Only problem is, gone up or not, it's time. They go for that switch over. This is the final round where the switch has to come. All credits must be spent. Everything has to be done. There's no thing you can stop to try and change. If you decide rush A, it's the time to do it. If you try to rush B, it's the time to do it. It's all just going to come down to how these players actually want to do their style. And I'm going to ask you quickly, because when it comes to trying to hit that box quickly on A and go for that plant, is it worth it to try and go for the clear, or should it just be better to burn all your ult now?
Gotta burn the ults, right? You want that old economy. Make sure you can get it all done and dusted, but see what they can make happen this time. 4 players committed to the ace site. A prediction of this caliber would be certainly something. Uncaged finds the first with the Outlaw. Toronto in a phenomenal position, but it's not even mattering. Watch me fall takes him down, and now Bangs 1v4 scenario gonna have to make a miracle. 1, 2, 3. That's all they get as Watch Me Fall picks up 3 of their own to end the round 8-3, and it's looking rough. It's looking like this half is gonna be all going for the clan's way.
It's such a tough time. They almost had it. If they could just have pushed that little bit further, would have been there. Easily taken it over, made sure to shut out and give them that advantage they needed. But as we're in 8-3 now, it's looking like their playstyle for their defense is going to have to be a lot better from the side of Co. Because right now, Elite are being menaces. LPL have shown that they're strong. They're catching off good rounds. They're making sure to give good cutoffs. But whether they can actually land the shots, like here, Toronto challenging Eli, it's all going to come down to the skill more than anything else as they try to get the read on the change. If they can just quickly catch off somebody, no, you shoot it, wait, bait, and hopefully catch off Eli here. And it worked. Uncaged gets the first shot, takes out. Ban gets their own, though, takes out Uncaged. But that means the Sheriff is down. The gun's down. Got to try to go for the push through and hopefully get the kill now.
Looking rough, that's to say the least, but as the dimensional drift gets popped, blindside in hand, gonna be able to spot 2 in CT, instantly backs out. It's a pivot. A site was the real category they wanted to go for. Now Watch Me Fall. Will they try and opt in? Do they go for the aggressive stance? Answer is no. They wait. They bide their time. Get the Kizzy online. To go for the dimensional drift. Able to spot out everyone. So much utility in hand still. Gonna find the first. Hits traded. Toronto down. But 1 CE gets the next. There's Bangs. Offline. Kizzy gets another. The half ends with a phenomenal masterclass performance as the Elite Clan take it all the way to the ringer.
The retake there. Absolutely monsters. If you're not expecting something like that, there's no way of reading it. If you were expecting something like that, there was no way of stopping it. With every util being burned, every idea, synergy being played, they just chose, hey, we know how to do this. It's our game time. We just run it. We run the gauntlet. And that's what we've seen. And that's one of the more important factors of this match. Because whether you're trying to go for that easy win, trying to go for that quick take, if you get caught off guard like that, it can be disastrous. One of the more important factors is the lineups here. I'm not seeing too many of them this time around, which is actually a bit of a surprise since we've seen some good ones at the start.
Get going. I mean, lineup wise, you don't really have a lot of characters who have that opportunity to be able to make that happen, right? Like you have the Sova and maybe the Cypher, but besides that, it's all skill. And Miniboo Fan, they're going to be showing theirs already, as they want to be able to find the pistol, and they did it last time in the half. We'll see if they can do it again. The recon dart is able to make their connection. Uncaged takes advantage, bangs down Uncaged, an uncaged animal, yes, pun intended, but they will be caged finally as Rain picks up a double kill. 1 CE, 2K. How much can they ask for? The answer is a shot to the body, taking the heart down for the count. 1 CE takes a second, looks for the third. Spike is down, timing not good. Shock darts do exist, unable to make the connection though, still just having to play time. Veldrets gonna try and get something done. A masterclass performance necessary. They go through the cyber cage as now they tap the bomb, wanting to stick, knowing that they must get this done. They tap again, they get the shots. That's all they're getting as it's double digits reached.
It's one of those moments where you just have to go for the fast flanks. You have to go for the shutdowns, cut off the rotations, and just understand mid control is everything. One of the reasons I'm really liking Cypher's play, and again, it could be obvious to everyone at home, but for me, it's a bit more of a surprise. His traps have been so useful for just patrolling mid, but also keeping an eye out. But then you've got the idea of Omen, powerful smokes, shutting down angles, shutting down entry points. There might not actually be a need for the lineups, as you'd said previously. It's just coming down to it's strategic. Yes, it's straightforward, but it's strategically straightforward. As they push up and try to get an angle and try to catch somebody off guard, watch me fall. Flicks and gets one, takes out. Just needs to totally try and mini-boo here, but no. As the shots land, it was not enough with 2 going down in exchange, leaving it to a 2v4.
Certainly not an easy position to come back from. Do what they can, inevitably get Toronto in a phenomenal position to be able to strike while the iron is hot. As they do just that, they want to snowball this lead. It's been, what, like 9 rounds or something since the last time this roster's been able to find even a single one. But as LPL Mix falls once more, it's the Elite Clan to take this game even further. And in a qualification match for the playoffs, this was one that really did matter the most. But despite that, it seems as if LPL Mix will fall short in the end.
Well, you can't count them out just yet. As you know, there's 4 days of play, 2 days of play, and then more to come. There's always going to be a second qualifier and even more for in the future forward. So if they don't make it to this match, they don't make it to this tournament, fine. They've got the distance to go for the next one. And make sure you guys also try to qualify for it too. But no, with the slide from Unchanged, quickly getting out Miniboo. But Rain there to back it up, equalizing it into a 4v4. As the quick challenge comes out, but Crazy takes out Rain, gets a quick walk up from Watch Me Fall, takes out one of his own.
At this point, a 2v4 situation, the blind side comes on, but unfortunately, it's the other angle you needed to watch out for. Kizzy takes him down. Eli now in a 1v4 scenario, and it's looking rough. It's looking bad. Phantom in hand, going in, not able to make the connection as it's going for the way of Watch Me Fall, taking down Eli.
Match point.
Just gotta see how this play comes out, because right now, it's the penultimate round. We're back at it again. They are here to try and empty the tank, go for that punishment, and just go for the swing. But, obviously seen, they've been red for 3 rounds straight, and their defense and attack are chef's kiss immaculate. It's that punishment, 22, 9, and 3. Uncaged being menace, but having back his teammates there to cover him works great. As the camera comes out and the mid control starts, the push-up starting.
Electing for the relay bolt, gonna be able to get this spy cam dart off of him. But as Uncaged drops right on in, 2 players, the Guardian takes them down. This could be the round to be able to finally relieve some pressure off of your backs, but at match point, that's when the pressure is the highest. Following up on the drone, Watch Me Fall instantly capitalizes through the cage, takes the kill, as now Opting up for heaven, we see two players. Blindside gets prepared as they drop it right on out. Won't be able to full flash. Mini Boo fan takes advantage of the close range corners. Gets a double right after Toronto takes two of their own. As now 1CE 2X need or 2K need to make something happen. The fast lane comes in, the relay dart as well, going for it all. But it's 1CE 2K as well as the team of the Elite Clan bringing it to the semi or final. Wow, they bring it to the playoffs as they absolutely take it all down with them. You got to give credit where credit is due. A 13-3 victory, nothing to scoff at whatsoever. Star Trago, how on earth are they this good?
Well, Cherry, I can give you numbers, I can give you stats, I can give you statistics. I couldn't give you their training plan because whatever they were doing, it was absolute cinema, absolute punishment coming out time and time again. Literally, I thought I seen 6, maybe 8 players on one side for a second, just from the fact of the number of plays, the omens, the strategies they were working with. Honestly, as you said before, a masterclass on how to actually attack and defend on Sunset. Yes, couple gaps, couple pocket strats working against them, but it was not enough. 22 going up again at the end of that as well. Just absolute wonders. And I'm going to say this, I may not have understood why Omen and Cypher would be brought together in tandem. It wasn't about dueling, it was just complete control, making sure they had every piece of intel they needed just to be able to catch off guard everything. And I'm gonna say I'm pretty happy to see that. I'm sure you are too, Jerry.
That was excessively nice. That was very good. The repetition of just round after round. They lost the pistol, but instantly came back. The mental never faltered, never went undertow, and it absolutely just looked as if this team is going to be a massive playmaker within the playoffs. They want to be able to qualify, and they're going to be able to do it. And just before we head off, just a little bit of a shout out on my end, right? We're gonna let's talk about some of these teams, right? Let's go and maybe I can, maybe, yeah. So round number 3, the teams that we did see qualify so far, we got 7 sensitive EU taken down. Tickle times. Actually, the cherries were able to find their win as well to be able to qualify up to playoffs. Those are all we got so far. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for staying tuned because this round number 3 was phenomenal. Now we got more games on Saturday. We got more games on Sunday. Make sure to stay tuned for the playoffs. This has been the group stage. My name is Sherry J, joined by the one, the only Star Drago, and behind the desk, Formless, the serious, both here tapping buttons, making us be able to look cool. And that is it from us. Thank you all so much for staying tuned. Thank you all so much for coming on by. But that is it. Thank you all so much for staying in. See you next time. Peace out.
Hold on. We
Oh,
do have
oh,
something
oh, oh,
interesting to
oh,
say. It's
oh.
quite interesting. We actually do get to say the top players, Katie, now that most of the matches are coming to an end. 3.9 for Panagos for Team D Cherries. An
Ooh.
absolute unit taking a 3.9. Miss Keth, but M4XIKK. Fantastic for the side of Mirrorfits. 3.5. And then Albert with a 3.2 for the side of Misfit as well. These teams are absolute dominating, trying to get the most out of it. And Vasquez being the most kills on VR2, 63. Fair play to all the teams today. Fair play to all the players. They do need a shout out. They do need their deserved play. But as we have said, this is it. Thank you for EVC for having us today. Thank you for Cracked Media for having us on their channel today. And thank you to everyone at Valorant and everyone at home. We will catch you all later. Oh, also, we've got to say the Missed Games, just thank you to Missed Games as well for having us throughout all this, including Riot. Can't forget that as well. But as the season and series will continue as well, Missed Games will be hosting the official events and stuff coming forward. So please be here. Please be watching. Please be subscribed, following, do whatever you have to do. And thank you for you at home. You know, we don't always have to be immortal or I'm going to say transcendent, but it's always good to have a smile on your face. So thank you all. Catch you all later.